everyone, and welcome down to episode 153 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia. And the guy on your other screen or in your other ear, if you're listening to the show, it is Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. How you traveling, Cam?
I'm going all right. Yep.
Going all right?
Pushing through it. So, yeah, we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting through your little procedure.
Yeah, had a little operation it's about a week ago now, which flies. So I had that all done, went all fine. I've still got, what do they call a stent? I've still got a stent in. I've got something foreign inside me, which is unusual, which sounds terrible, but that's got to stay in there for another couple of weeks. But yeah, getting through it. I couldn't not rock up for a Down South Photo Show episode.
Mate, you're still young and healthy. You'll be fine.
Apparently not.
Thanks to everyone who has liked, subscribed, and followed the channel. Kicking up towards 1,250 subs on the YouTubes, which is pretty cool. And, the usual deal that we go on about at this part of the show. It's been, feels like it's been just another week, really. I mean, it hasn't been a lot going on, has it? I mean, it's probably because we're both sort of laying low a little bit. Yeah,
well, I had a doctor intrude me quite aggressissivy, but apart from my week's been pretty boring.
That's right.
Yeah,
that was the highlight of your week.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much detail we want to get into on the show, but when they told me what they were doing and how they were doing, I'm like, thank God you are knocking me out. I don't want to know anything about it. So
that's exactly right.
But yeah, it's been a pretty stock standard week. I know you've had a busy week, and
yes,
lots of your shop's been unusually busy this time, or
it's funny because it feels like, so normally up until 2 years ago, February would roll around and I'd just exhale. It'd be like, oh, great. All right, sweet. We get a little bit of a breather now. But now it just feels like Ocean Grove, because it's so much more populated now, I guess, the locals reclaim the town and all the tourists start to head back home and school goes back, work goes back, all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, we've been pretty busy, and something we'll touch on a little bit later in the episode as well that we sorted out for the shop this week. Yeah, that'll be good. But a little bit of homework, Cameron.
Oh, homework. Jeez.
I feel like photo of the week from last month.
Yeah.
We have the People's Choice
photo of the month from last month.
That's what I wanted to try and say.
Also, yeah. And I'm the one on drugs.
Yeah, that's right.
We did. We picked David Olendoff's picture of Mount Roland. Yeah, but now we've put up on the Down South Photo Show Facebook page. We now have the People's Choice for this month. So what do we got? Another halfway through the month. So you got another couple of weeks to get through and go through and vote. You can vote for one, you can vote for all, and then the most highest rated or highest voted image out of that top 10 will get a $50 print voucher, I think, from you, Brendan.
From me, that is correct. And what I like about it is invariably the People's Choice is not the one we choose.
But I don't think it has been at all, has it? I don't think it's actually...
I can't recall where a People's Choice has. And now whether or not that's biased, people are like, oh, well, that already won, I'm not going to vote for that, or...
Yeah, I can't believe they can't win twice, or that girl.
They can if they want. I mean, if it's a good image, they can do it twice. That's fun.
Isn't that just the Aussie way?
That's right.
Poppy, just chop them down.
That's right. So head over to our Facebook page, or search Down South Photo Show on Facebook. Yep. Follow the page if you want while you're there, and vote for the People's Choice for last month.
That'd be good. I'm just going to go have a quick look, because we put it up a couple of days ago, and there was votes flying in.
Yes, there was. I saw that. There was
always interesting to see which ones get like a bit of a flying start, which I like. So let's go.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty good. Oh, that's good. That's good. They're all actually, it's pretty even.
Okay, there you go. So get over and have a vote on the People's Choice for Down South Photo Show Facebook page.
Yeah, do it.
Yes, for sure. Now, photo of the week, Cam, you're going first. Your image is on the screen now, and it's quite a topical one.
It is a topical one. This is a shot taken. I don't think it was on the walk we did together.
It doesn't look like the conditions we had. No, we couldn't actually see anything.
It's all about. Everyone complained about the overland track. So this is a shot of Mount Oakley with Barn Bluff in the background, taken from Pillion Hut on a beautiful late afternoon sunset on one of the walks I've done over the last 20 years. It's topical because that is now not that exact area, but just back up the track a bit's been hit by some pretty big fires. We've got some big fires going on here in Tassie at the moment on the west coast. For those who know Tassie, the west coast is pretty wild and rugged, lots of rainforest, lots of lakes and rivers, lots of button grass plains, lots of different things like that. But There's two significant fires. One that's going through the button grass plains of the Tarkine near the Pieman River near Corinna, which is this beautiful little old mining town. And the other one's actually burning in the overland track region. It's actually taken out some track, taken out a bridge, and it burnt down one of the private huts,
wow.
which is a bit of a shame for those guys who have paid thousands of dollars to be pretty much carried along the track. They're now paying thousands of dollars to walk Waterfall Valley to Pillion in one day now because they've got to skip that hut. So
yeah, that's
I'm not sure that's what they signed up for, but that's what they're getting.
But the track's still closed though.
The track is still closed at the moment until the 24th of Feb. Okay. I have a group of people going out on the 6th of March, and I have a funny feeling it's going to be very close call.
Yeah.
If there's some track damage, and just knowing parks and wildlife, they'll want to make sure it's 100% safe and look out for any trees that might be going to fall down and stuff. So it could very well be okay. They might just open it and make people aware they need to walk around that section, or they might just close it all. I don't think they'll close it for too long because it's a big money maker and there's a hell of a lot of people booked in to do the walk every year. So
yeah,
there's a lot of disappointed people already. So, but big shout out to all the fireys and parks officers and stuff like that, all that, and all the New South Wales Fire Brigade. They've sent down a couple of big planes, are dumping fire retard on it. So to all those guys out there, good job, and girls. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Well, as my eldest is currently in Tasmania, I've been keeping an eye on the Tas emergency apps and that sort of stuff, and it's making sure that she's keeping well away from those areas, which of course she is.
On the other coast, isn't she, at the moment?
She's on the east coast at the moment. So while I was there, I was looking at the weather maps, and it looked like there was a bit of a band of showers going through those fire grounds at the moment.
Wow. So that's true. Just before I just came in to record this, there's a big dirty black cloud at the back of our house, but I was looking at that radar as well. Some of that rain band is actually the smoke bands.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so it's not actually rain. There is meant to be rain coming. Get this, though. Saturday, it's going to snow down to 900 metres around Tassie. What the hell's going on?
I hope my daughter took her winter woolies with her.
East Coast, if she's still on the East Coast on the weekend, she'll be all right. That'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll be. She's going to be probably close to your neck of the woods, actually. So she's heading down to Hobart, Australia.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. My photo, shall we, while we're there? The reason I've put mine up is because it was a year ago to the day of us recording this that I took that photo. So that is the sunrise a year ago on our awesome Three Capes adventure that we did with Five Star Dan and with Jacko and yourself and myself. And I think as the days go on, that grows fonder and fonder in the memory, just like the Overland, actually. And we did a couple of episodes from the Three Capes, which we can probably link somewhere, and you can go and check them out.
Yep. If you haven't seen those episodes, they were, up until we interviewed those superstars, they were one of the highest rating.
They were certainly in the top 5. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And if you haven't walked the Three Capes track in Tassie, those videos we put up, they're probably before. So what's that, a year ago? So it's probably around about the 100th episode.
Yeah, around about then.
Yeah, they were great insight. We had a lot of fun on that trip.
Yeah, we did. Anyway, that photo is the sunrise over, well, almost, it's pretty much right over the top of the Blade, and with Tasman Island there, which just an absolutely gorgeous place. So if you're into your photography and you're into a bit of hiking, get down to the Three Capes walk in Tasmania.
The only thing I remember about that morning is you screaming like a schoolgirl when you got to that.
I was so excited. That was one of the coolest things, because I didn't. It's hard when you look at pictures, because before you go to places, you're scouting locations. Where am I going to take my photos from? You can't picture it till you see it with your own eyes. And I think for me, it was the sheer height of the cliffs, and how spectacular that made the backdrop. Because you were perched so high on those cliffs. So. It was absolutely sensational. So yes, do yourselves a favor. That's photos of the week this week. I'm going to flip the script, Cameron.
Oh no.
I'm starting with deer cam.
Oh, all right.
Why not? We have a deer cam, which to be honest, it's been a few episodes since we've rolled out a deer cam. So I thought we'd start there, because it's actually quite a good question. So this is from two people. Is this two people sent this in at the same time? This is weird.
They're husband and wife team.
Gotcha. This is Lynn and Lee. Thank you, Lynn and Lee. Dear Cam and Brendan, in parentheses. So that's not too bad. I'm going to mention. Just wondering what you use to download / store photos when you're away from home for extended periods. do you always take a laptop with you? We don't really want to take a laptop if we can avoid it when we go to Scotland with Cam in September.
Yeah.
But not sure what other options are easy and safe for our images. Is there something you can recommend? ? We will be extending our trip beyond the time we spend with you, and we'll be away for at least a month. Very good question. I'm sure a lot of people grapple with this as well. So
it is a good question. And
what do we think, Cam?
Well, I don't always take a laptop with me. I try to if I can, but the problem is these days with all the luggage and carrying camera gear and carrying a laptop, you're over your 7 kilos within seconds. And if you've ever fly Jetstar internally, like pushing shit uphill to try and get it on there. So what I've been doing lately is, and it actually brings us onto a slightly different topic, which I'll get onto as well here. But what I try and do these days is when I'm away on trips, I try and edit as quick as I can. But I don't necessarily edit to the same degree I would on my big computer here at home. So I'm taking my iPad a lot these days. And what I've decided to do that works a bit better is you can also hook up an external hard drive to some of the Pro iPads. So you can just take an iPad and an external hard drive and dump your images that way. But probably the cheapest way to do it these days, I've found, is just take a few extra memory cards. Memory cards are quite cheap. You don't get to back them up as such, but if you fill a card up, then what you can do is just put it securely away in your camera bag or somewhere you're not going to lose it. And then you can always bring that back home. So it's like a little portable hard drive anyway. But I found the iPad with an external hard drive, which it might be like a 2 terabyte hard drive that fits into the latest iPads or the last couple of year iPads, does the job for me without having to take a laptop. Having said that, I'd probably rather take a laptop, but it's probably more of a weight issue a lot of the times. What I was going to extend on that as well is I got a message today from maybe number 3 ticket holder now, Mel, about who's well, he's not on the beer donations list tonight, and he's pushing it. So he told me that he was just starting to edit some photos from Utah, and I'm like, Utah, like that's months ago now. So I think it's a topic for another day. But what I would suggest people doing, especially if you're traveling, try and get back and edit as quick as you can, because you lose that memory, you lose that moment. You know, you sort of forget maybe some of the conditions that you were in when you're at that moment in time. I try and go back each night and at least try and pick out 4 or 5 good shots from the day, give them a good edit. At least that way I know when I get home, like, okay, that's how I was feeling about how I wanted to edit it at the time. And if I need to polish it up when I get back, that's cool. That's usually okay to chuck on social media. But these people that are putting off editing for months on end, some people, you're the same. You don't edit stuff either. You're useless. No, people just...
I completely agree.
People leave it so long.
I got no comeback for that.
Yeah. People leave it for so long, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to edit shots from 3 years ago that I never got around to. It's like, well, what was the point of taking the shot then? You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. Get editing.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that what I should do is kind of what you're doing, but not so much editing it straight away, but at least, selecting my favorite images, which you can do numerous ways. You can, I create a folder on my laptop that just says keepers, and I literally just flick across, right, yes. Of course, the other way you can do it is Lightroom Mobile, where you can use the star system and you can, favorite your photos, that sort of stuff, which works really well as well. But I find there is an upside to delaying the process, and that upside is I tend to be able to look at my photos with a fresh set of eyes after a few months. Where and we've talked about this before, where you go out, you're all excited, you get great photo, you think at the time are great photos, and then immediately you're looking at them again, and that maybe the photos don't quite match the hype. But over time, as that sort of dies down and settles a bit, and then you go back down memory lane.
Can you might look at your back if you've taken thousands of images in between?
No, well into my 50s, mate. I can't remember anything. I remember what I had for breakfast, but I just find I probably unearthed a few photos too. Like of like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that now. And I actually, hang on, where's that photo? Then you know what I mean? So for me, it's actually, hand on heart for me, it's actually just a time thing, running the business, doing this amazing podcast with you, all that sort of stuff.
Mate, excuses. The amount of times you send me messages during the day, you could have edited 10 images.
You're my my sounding board sometimes. That's right. I need to do that.
Something else I do that I've been doing, and I did it in Scotland on the trip a lot. I use my phone, my Lightroom mobile phone.
Yeah, it's quite good.
I set up a preset. I did a couple of edits, set up a preset, and did it through there. So, when I was driving around or Cheryl was driving, I was in the passenger seat just editing a couple of photos, and away we go.
Yeah.
Question without notice.
Yes.
I like when I'm out there taking photos, if I get a shot, for example, that shot of yours off the cliff there at Tasman Island, if I took that shot, I'd be like, oh, that's a cracker. The first thing I want to do is go back and look at it and edit it. Like I get the buzz out of like the photo moment and then the editing moment. I get two buzzes out of it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there have been times when I've done that where I've been and just this is too good to, just to shelve. I want to do this now, and that has happened before. P.S. That photo I put up before was just shot from my phone. That was just a quick shot that I got. So, but I'm with you. But normally it's when it's outstanding. I remember maybe 2 years ago now, I was over at Point Lonsdale and the big surf was rolling in, and they were shots that I just knew were. Well, I was really happy with them, so I wanted to get those. Can I come back over something that you talked about before? Just with regards to portable hard drives, I'm now a big convert to solid state portable SSDs. I'm not. I don't know. There's you can get both, and normally SSDs are a bit more expensive, but I find they're a lot lighter. For one, they
the SSDs are.
I think so. Yeah, I find they're a lot more lightweight, and I really like your first point, and that is just a few extra memory cards. I mean, as I said, 128 gigabyte memory card is what are they, like $100 or not even that? I'm
on our good friends at DigiDirect's website at the moment.
Yeah.
And you can get a 128 SD card Extreme Pro for $39.
128 gig.
$128 gig for $39.
See, that's incredible.
So that's that's a fifth of a
not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored, although I've been sending a lot of business their way this week.
Not sponsored.
Solid state. I haven't done much with the solid state stuff. I've always just used the normal HDs.
Yeah.
What are they called? Non-solid?
Well, they're a spinning hard drive. They're potential. They're a hard disk drive, a HDD. Right. But whereas a solid state drive effectively is just a giant memory card.
Right. Okay.
It's exactly.
Maybe I should get one of them then.
A solid state drive won't. There's nothing moving, nothing spinning, so they're really, really hard to corrupt.
Right.
They're a bit more rugged, a bit more robust.
Yeah.
They basically are glorified memory cards. So, but they're in a stronger housing. So
so they might be a bit better for travel. But having said that, they're a bit more expensive too, by the look of them.
Oh, no doubt. They are more expensive, but they have their pros and cons. So
a 2 terabyte SSD is about $300, where I think a non-solid state one's about half that. But
that's right, exactly. Yep. So you pay the weight penalty, but you save a few bucks. Blah blah blah. So that's. Okay. So hopefully that has answered that question, Lynn and Lee. If you have a Dear Cam, please send it in. We'd like to have a crack. Well, Cam would like to have a crack at answering it, and then of course I'll pick up the slack and throw in my 2 cents.
Look, I think as well, like traveling, if you're away for a month, like that's a lot of photos to store.
Yeah.
And the other thing, like laptops aren't idiot-proof either. They crash and they have issues and stuff like that. So I think trying to have something that you can sort of take away and put away securely without losing is a good option.
Yeah, absolutely. Cam, your topic for discussion.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you announce it. So what's a little bee in your bonnet this week, Cameron?
Well, as you know, I've been sitting at home on the couch being told not to do anything by a doctor. and I've had enough. I am calling bullshit on the entire camera marketing platform at the moment. So I'm sitting on the couch. I've been told I need to just take it easy, relax. So what do? You sit on YouTube looking at reviews and you're reading things and stuff like that. And I'm calling bullshit on all these brands that get these YouTubers out there to promote their cameras, these ambassadors that go out and promote their cameras. So case in point, so the new Olympus OM system, OM3's come out, right? I'll put my hand up now. I've ordered one because I like the look of it. I think it looks retro. It looks really cool. But I went and thought, I'll go, get excited. What do people think? And I went through about 10 different reviews, and every single one of them had the same load of shit pouring out of their mouth. And it's like, this camera is amazing. This camera is this camera is that. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? This camera isn't amazing. It isn't any special than they make it out to be. And it just got me thinking. I started looking at other reviews of like the Nikons and the Canons and the Fujis, and it's all the same. You got all these same people, Petapixels, those two guys, they're pretty good. They give a little bit of negativity if they don't like it, but the majority of online reviews on cameras that come out or gear that comes out is all positive, and there's very minimal negative. Now, this OM3, I can give you 10 things off the top of my head that aren't good about this camera that people have not mentioned or shouldn't be mentioning. I should be mentioning when people are looking at these reviews to base their decision making on, and they're getting this crap. And I just sat there, I started watching it, and I'm like, this is bullshit. This is not what you say it is. This is a new camera, yes, and it's got some great features, but the features are no different to the previous model that's come out. All they've done is squeezed it into a prettier body and downgraded the viewfinder. So it's not an improve.
Can you say that again? They've what?
They've put all the same things in a prettier body and downscaled the viewfinder.
Actually given you a worse viewfinder.
Yeah, giving us a worse viewfinder.
That's what I wanted you to repeat. Just let that sink in.
Yeah. So if case, like I said, we'll go through the OM3. I'm an Olympus person. We know that. I have no affiliations with Olympus or OM systems, but they're charging over $3,000 for a camera that has a downgrade in its viewfinder. It has a downgrade in its image stabilization, and it has a downgrade on some of the functionality on the back of their camera with buttons and things like that. And everyone's going out there saying, this is great. This is a cool new camera. There's nothing new about it.
No, it doesn't have a grip.
It doesn't have a grip, which I don't mind. It's got the same battery. It's got one memory card slot. So all OM system have done is gone and rehashed an OM5 and taken the grip off and made it look pretty like an old camera, which is fine. And I like that. I've wanted them to do like this retro style for ages. And that's why I'll most likely buy one. Even though I'm hanging shit on it, I'll still buy it because I like the look of it. But don't tell me online that these guys are not getting told what to say to a fairly big point about this new gear coming out. The only one that made any sense was our mate from Camera Conspiracies. And he said,
we got to get that guy on the show.
We got to get that guy on. He said exactly the thing. He goes, they've given up.
Yeah.
And that was the only honest review I could find out of everyone online. So this is my little community service for people out here watching this show. If you're looking to buy a camera, please do not put all your eggs in the basket of online YouTube reviewers, because a lot of them, apart from a very small percentage, are getting told what to say. They have to get things checked off script-wise by the manufacturer before it goes out. And they get told certain things they have to say. The OM3's got this little dial that the Pen F used to have, the color film simulation dial. That was mentioned specifically on every single review, as if it was like, that's one of the points you must mention in this video. And I just think it's really bad, because people rely on this information to make decisions and spend big money.
Yeah. And
they're just getting fed bullshit. Yeah. They're jerking the chain.
And we have to reiterate, it's not just OM system. You're completely right. All the manufacturers do it. And it almost seems like there's been a bit of a trend lately where everyone wants a hipster to market their camera, or everyone wants
that's another
a 20, 30 something to be there, holding the camera. And if they can just get Taylor Swift to hold that camera for 0.3 of a second,
we are starting to sound like a couple of old white guys yelling, shaking our fist at the cloud.
We're Stadler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
But we are. But you know what? I did a bit of further research. Again, I've been sitting on my ass for a week, which is unusual for me. And what I did, I went and started looking at stats on camera sales last year via age group. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you now, anything over, I think it was like 55 or over, is like 60 to 70% of the market of camera buyers.
Yes.
So why the fucking hell are these camera manufacturers putting these pretty models and hipsters on there to sell their cameras to people that can't afford them? Yeah. It is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but it does. It got my head in. I got to the end of it. I'm like, I'm not watching any more reviews. They're all crap.
And I love that you were so pent up and you even self-censored yourself then. Well done. Thank you. That's one less thing I have to do.
I was going to sell.
Don't do it.
Camera reviewers can go fuck himself, but I'm not going to say it. Because because I get a lot of questions. Like, as soon as that OM3 came out, I had emails, and I've pre-ordered a heap for people through DigiDirect, which is great. But people are like, oh, what do you think of it? What do you think of it? So I'm going to get one not based on any of the features it's got, because I like the look of it. I'm a bit of a camera collector. I like the look of it. I think it looks like an old camera. I like it. It's like the ZF that the Nikons do. I love that. The Fujis look old school and all that kind of stuff. But people are starting to ask, okay, well, what's the improvements? None. It's actually a downgrade from the previous model.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same what we were talking about the other day when we go to this Mark II to Mark III or Mark III to Mark IV. It's all full of shit. They get all these reviewers online on YouTube to get on there and peddle the product for them.
Yeah.
So people go out there and go, oh, well, you know, these guys said it was amazing. I'm going to go buy one. Do your research, folks. Make sure you compare. What was that camera site we used to be able to compare all the
DP Review?
DP Review was great because you used to be able to put model.
It still is great. Still exists.
You can go in there and put model next to model by model, and you can compare what the updates are. And if that's not an update that you think is worthy of a couple of $1,000s, don't buy it.
Yep.
So we're a camera show saying don't buy cameras. Go figure. Even I'm buying one.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But anyway, I wholeheartedly agree. And I see your point. Now, if you are looking at the OM3 for performance, buy an OM5.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. You'll save $2,000.
Or buy the OM1 Mark II.
Yeah.
It's a better camera.
Yeah. But
I don't have the OM1 Mark II. I've got the OM1 Mark I. So this is a bit of an upgrade, somewhat slightly, but I'm going backwards in viewfinder and backwards in image stabilizer and a few other things. It's a rort. And these people that are reviewing it, they're in on it.
Well, of course they are. They're getting paid. So yeah, that's just how it is.
And even if they say, oh, this is not sponsored by Nikon, Canon, it's damn not sponsored by, but they know they put a camera in your hand. You better be nice to them.
Quite often,
otherwise, other reviews to do.
Yeah, and you talked about a couple of reviewers and a couple that I like to watch. One is Gerald Undone. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a great camera reviewer because he's 90% honest.
Yes, 90%.
Yeah, by that I mean he will say at the top, he'll say this is not paid for by Canon. However, they did give me this camera to keep.
Yes. So, yeah, that's right. So it's a payment.
So he will say that though. So then you can decide, okay, I take this with a grain of salt, or do I listen to I listen to it like it's gospel? You know, and you're exactly right. Do your homework, make the decision yourself. But very, very valid point insofar as the OM3 is a redesign. It's a retro redesign. I think it looks great. I really do. I'm not buying it. I think it's a really, really nice camera. It almost looks as nice as your shorts.
They're not bad, are they? At least not wearing shorts. Like it looks like that, which is great. It's got all the same dials, the same buttons, and that's what I love about it. But like I said, it goes across the brand where we're so invested in getting onto this thing, YouTube. We're on it. We're guilty of it, but we're not doing paid reviews or anything like that. We're just giving our honest opinion on what's going on in the industry. And this has just got a bee in my bonnet this week because I'm sitting there looking at it going, I really want to buy this camera. And I know I'm knowledgeable enough to know what it is and isn't, but there's a lot of people out there probably aren't. They're going to splash this $3,000 odd on a camera when it's actually a downgrade. And I just think that's just wrong.
It's funny, isn't it? Because OM systems over the last couple of releases have done some curious things. The OM1 Mark II, 95% of it could have been done with a firmware upgrade. That was really frustrating for a lot of their loyal customers. And now this. So it's interesting what they're doing. I mean, and I suppose this isn't as bad because in a lot of ways everyone knows what they're doing, but to a lesser degree, people may not see through the marketing hype.
Well, I've just compared those cameras on DP Review again, right? So not only are you getting a lower viewfinder, they're also taking out the quad core processor. So the processor's been, that's been downgraded. There's so many downgrades on this camera, and all they're selling it on is purely on its looks. But if you read the reviews, you wouldn't know that, or if you watched the reviews, you wouldn't know that.
No, if you read the reviews, they're going to, it reviews like the OM1 Mark II. No, not even that. It reviews like an OM5. So,
Anyway. So, I don't know. It's just, I just think, I feel sorry for people out there that are invested in gear. And, I'm in a bit of a unique situation where I can sort of buy and sell gear as I please, because I'm a bit of a dickhead like that. But some people will buy that for their camera to be, and I think they're going to be disappointed. Now, I'm putting it out there now on this episode. I don't think OM System will be around in 2 or 3 years. I think they're done for. They are not producing anything new.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not as pessimistic as that about OM System, but I don't think they're going down a path that's sustainable. I don't know if it's going to take. Time will tell. But it was interesting when it became OM System, things shifted a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, watch this space on that one. So
there's my rant for today.
No, I like it. It's good. If you've got any feedback about that, please hit us. We like the comments. We read everyone's comments below. So,
and it's across the board. It's not just, I'm only saying OM System because I'm sort of invested in it a fair bit, but it does it all the same with all the same camera brands. They're all the same. They give people cameras and they get reviews that they want, and then people go and spend their hard-earned on the back of a somewhat false review.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Moving on. I did something, Cameron.
Did you?
I was very, very, very excited this week.
Did you product something?
Kind of, which meant I had to replace it. My awesome wide format printer decided that enough was enough. After 8 years of loyal service, it decided to bite the dust, and I was thrown into the position of having to replace it. So I've got myself a new toy.
I should buy a brand newie.
It's not brand new. Yeah, no, it's not brand new, but I got a pretty sweet deal on it too, so I'm happy with that. But what I've got is a new wide format Epson printer. The Epson, I got myself an Epson P9560, and the big change for me now is I actually have a printer with, goddamn it, 12 ink cartridges in it. So it's basically got one of the widest color gamuts you can get in a printer. So I've gone from having 8 channels to now having 12 to play with. So my color gamut's gone from about that big to about that big. So I'm excited. It's great. I was already producing great prints. Now apparently I'm producing even better.
I've got it. I just had a quick Google.
Yes.
$3,000 odd to change the inks over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the ink size is twice the size of the old printer. So the old printer had 350 mil inks. This has 700s. So they last a lot longer, and it's incredibly efficient. So of course got it yesterday, running some test prints and stuff today, setting up the profiles and that sort of stuff, making sure that I was across it all and working out all the speed modes and that sort of stuff.
Right.
Super efficient and accurate straight out of the box. P.S. We're having an amazing sunset here right now. I can see it out the window. But anyway, it's another story. I don't know why I mentioned that.
Podcast is a sunset.
Of course, that's just how it happens. So very, very cool. There's a few things that it means for my customers. One is that's even more light fast guaranteed. So on a few of the paper stocks that I print on, it's now color fast for 200 years.
That's another bullshit gimmick, isn't it?
I love it. I mean, the 75 was funny enough, but
who's going to be around to challenge it?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's 75 years. It's not like in 75 years it's disappeared. It's in 75 years is when you can start to notice any fading or discoloration. Yeah. So this is different. Again, it's basically museum quality printing, which is fantastic. I'm really stoked for it. Had a bit of fun trying to sort out the profiles today, where for those of you who aren't familiar with what a profile is, basically every different paper stock that you print on has a different color profile. So you need to match the color profile to your printer. And if your monitor is calibrated, it means that you are getting the same results as your monitor if you use the right profile through your printer. So you got to download all the right profiles, and a few papers have come and gone. So like Ilford, for example, is starting to discontinue a few papers. So you got to try and dig out the new profiles and keep that updated all the time. So that's what we do.
Do the profiles outdate? Like, do they update the profiles for the paper at all? Or is it like
only if they change the way the paper's manufactured?
Yeah. So once they design a paper and release it, then the profile sticks with that for the life
Correct.
of it.
So that the paper they make will basically have the same formula, the same ingredients, if you like, to make that paper for the life of the run. If they then decide to change that, they will then update the profile. So, and it's the same goes with the driver. The driver for the printer as well gets updated regularly. So, and that'll import new profiles too. So, it came preloaded with 1,000 profiles, but of course I had to go and hunt for the papers that I use. So, and because I mainly use Ilford, I could get them straight from the Ilford website. So there's a few others that I'm moving into now as well. Hannah Mueller, for example, another company that I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it'll be interesting, and it's going to be cool because I get to now offer up a few new paper stocks as well. A couple in particular I'm really excited for that hopefully I can get off the ground pretty quickly.
Where does one buy a printer like that? On Facebook Marketplace or?
No, when you're in the industry, you get offered these things. You know people here and there, and you'll be in certain chat groups or certain, you just get the whiff of it. Someone's like, the reason I got this one is because the person upgraded their Epson to a 60-inch. So this is a 44-inch. Right. So they've now got a 60-inch, which is actually fantastic because it means I can technically now offer 60-inch prints through them. So, and have the same setup basically. So I'm not, to be frank, I'm not overly keen on doing such big prints, mainly and I might do them like as a rolled print, but I'm not into framing 60-inch prints, man.
That's a big print.
Yeah, I did a 60 by 90-inch print, the biggest print I've ever done. It was about 5 years ago. I got it. I had to outlab it to get it printed because it was so big. I had to actually have it printed 64 inches by 94 inches for the wrap, for the canvas, because it was a canvas. Yeah. So I got another company to print it for me. And then I don't know why I even agreed to it, but I'll stretch it and I'll deliver it. Okay. Well, it fit in my van on an angle and it filled up the entire back of my van. That's how big this print was. Wow. And it was just freaked me out the whole time, trying to deliver it without marking it. It was a very expensive print. So yeah, I sort of went back to my 60 by 40s and, I like doing 80 by 40s with a sort of slightly panoramic. So, and that one back there's a 60 by 40, by the way. So that's the sort of prints I like to handle in-house. But yeah, it's really cool to have and it actually, this is going to sound weird, but it's kind of like the Olympus thing. It looks cool. It's got a cool look about it. It's got little LED lights in the front of it so you can see the print as it's printing.
Making noise when you load it up, like do.
Yeah, it does all that fun stuff. All the wanky stuff.
Theme song or something.
A good idea. I should program it to do that. So so keep an eye out on the website on my camera and photo website because I'll be talking about the new papers there that we're going to be offering.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's good. So beer donations, Cam.
Yeah, well, we're a bit thin this week. Not that I can drink, but you can.
We can't. They can't all be gems.
True. Sharon and the
moving up in the ticket holder stakes, old Shazza, isn't she?
I think she's got to be definitely top 3.
Hard to disagree. I think you might be right.
What? Like, she's coming on workshops. She's buying stuff. She's buying us beer. She's engaging a lot.
She posts photos of herself at the Speedway, and she's got a Down South Photo Show hat on and a hairy tog T-shirt.
I think we're going to have to. It's going to have to come to a head at some stage this year.
We're going to shoot out.
We're going to have a shootout. So it's going to be at the end of the year. We'll announce who the number 1 ticket holder is for the next year.
But it must be said that Mel is coming to the Mel E with us. So, he might shuffle back up towards the top.
He might. He sent me a nice message today, and he did apologise for no beer, which really it's a bit of a cop out to be honest. But it's all right, Mel.
You're a good man.
You're a short man, Mel.
Speaking of, we still have a couple of places left for our Mallee workshop, which is fast approaching in about 6 or 7 weeks. We'll be off in the Mallee from the 28th of March. So if you can get yourself to Swan Hill on the 28th of March, come along. Come and join in on that workshop. We've also got places available on our Great Ocean Road workshop from the 19th of May. And we've also got places on our Tarkine to Cradle Mountain workshop from the 15th of August. So they are
I'll be able to bring my new OM3 to all those workshops.
You will. I look forward to dropping it in the dust. No, I look forward to looking at it.
I've put a pre-order in. I don't know if I'm 100%. I might have just talked myself out of it on this episode.
Or you might cancel it.
Yeah, I might. I don't know. Like that viewfinder on the OM1's lovely. This viewfinder is just, I don't know. And you know what they're going to do? You mark my words. I'll buy it and then they'll release like a titanium version or a special edition of it, which is what I really want. And I'll be screwed then.
Yeah. Well, look, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I won't buy one.
No,
I don't need one. I don't need one either. It's a want more than a need, and I'm not doing that. I'll end up with one in 5 years' time when it's $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, I reckon you might have not only wait maybe 2 years for that.
Yeah, we'll buy yours off you.
Yeah. Well, speaking to Mark at DigiDirect, and he gave me a good price on it, and he's given my customers a very good price on it.
Yep.
And he goes, put a pre-order in, and I said, how many pre-orders have you got? I think he said, we've got 6. I think he said. I said, how many of those are mine? He goes, 5.
Yeah.
So they're not pre-ordering very well. So yeah. Anyway, I guess we've kicked them enough in the guts, but that was more about the reviews. That's not necessarily.
It was more about the industry, Cam. Which frustrates us no end sometimes. So I get it. I totally get it. So now, what's coming up, Cam, for you this week?
A little bit more. Well, I should be doing a bit more rest. I've got a one-on-one tomorrow that I've had booked in for a while. Yes. I'm feeling a lot better, but I won't be doing too much exercising. It might be a lot of pretty close to the car walks for this little one-on-one tomorrow. Lovely lady from WA is coming out. She's in Hobart for the day or the weekend. And then I'm meant to be doing some sort of photo shoot up in Stanley on the weekend, but I haven't heard any details of that. Okay. Again, it's nothing too strenuous. It's like a product shoot type of thing. They've booked me into some accommodation, and that's it. That's all they've told me. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So I don't know. That's it. And then again, just resting again next week. I think after the weekend, if I take it easy, I think I'll be sort of back on board.
Yeah.
And then we can all talk about you after next week.
Yeah, well, that's if I'm definitely having my consult next week, and I dare say the surgery will be straight after that. But anyway, that's another story. Now we're going to reward listeners who have listened this far.
Not Mel.
Well, he'll be listening for sure. We are going to make a special guest appearance, Cameron, on another podcast.
Yeah, too. I forgot about that.
Yes. So, well, I just thought I'd throw it in there at the end. Yeah. Now I can't recall whether it's this next week or the week after, but it's very soon.
It's Monday, the 17th of February,
which is literally 3 days from when you are hearing this. So if you listen to this when it came out,
at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Standards Time. But it's not called the Camera Life Podcast.
No,
it's called something else.
Yeah. What? Yeah, that's right. It's something a little new, but not everything old's new again.
Keep filling. I'll find out what it is.
Yeah. Well, the lovely guys from Lucky Straps are having us on board their podcast. It'll be interesting because there'll be 4 of us. I mean, we find it hard to not talk over each other on this show. How are we going to do that with 4 of us? But anyway, we'll see what happens.
I don't know if they know what they're in for.
Well, it goes out live, does it not?
It is live. Well, I've got it playing on my computer now.
I think it's live and unfiltered, apparently. So
we should just go crazy.
Completely shoot their show down.
I hope they don't watch this one. I don't know what it's called. Is it the Random Podcast, the Random Camera Podcast?
Your guess is as good as mine, but
we'll put it out there once we remember the name of what, because it's not it's a new sort of version they're doing on a live sort of edition.
We will definitely plug it. There was talk of it maybe even streaming live simultaneously, but that's way beyond our technical capabilities.
No, it is going to stream on both our channels.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
So I don't know how they're doing that.
Yeah.
But the 4 of us together, yeah. And I think just based on our conversations with them already, we're very different couples.
Yes, that's right. It'll be couples therapy.
Couples therapy. So they might need to rein us back in. We might need to rein them back in.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what they want to chat about, which I love, like the unknown of it all.
No. It'll hopefully be a little bit loose. It'll hopefully be a little bit entertaining and informative for the folks out there. So,
and they have a live chat as well, so you can interact with it as well.
So that'll be Monday night, the 17th of February, all things being equal. That is Australian Eastern Daylight Time, as Cam said. So wherever you are around the world, make your adjustments for that. I would imagine that it will stay on their channel after it goes live.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't think it's just going to be a live thing and then it disappears, but we shall find out.
Keep it on there and Unless it's really bad, then they may just delete it.
Probably.
What could go wrong? Seriously.
What could possibly go wrong? That's right. So that's us for the week.
Yes.
Was there anything else we had to talk about? I think that's it.
I think we've hung enough shit on as much as we can in one episode.
Got ourselves
I'm blaming the medication.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's apparently you can blame medication for a lot of different things. This has been episode 153 of the Down South Photo Show. We shall see you for episode 154 in the coming weeks. Bye for now.
Are you on some sort of medication we need to know about?
No. Say goodbye, Cameron.
Bye-bye, Cameron.